Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Alex and this is Budget Me Alex. I am a 30-year-old all-cash budgeter and I am on a journey to be completely debt-free, as well as I do have some pretty big savings goals. So if you are interested in this kind of content, just go ahead and continue watching. You will notice we do have a little bit of a change of scenery. I decided to come to my bedroom because we are officially filming our Q&A. I posted this, I can't even tell you how many weeks ago, but we're finally getting to it because it is very long overdue and I've gotten some more questions since then, so I figured I would just combine them all and just go through it all together. Some of these questions I will be going into a little bit more like background and context and things like that, just so I can kind of like better explain. So it is going to be a very chatty video, so I would recommend grabbing yourself a snack, coffee, tea, soda, whatever it is that you guys want, and chilling out because we're gonna go through everything that has been asked lately. So let's see here. I am going to start with the first question that is probably going to be a little bit of a long answer, and I won't really say who the question is from. One, I don't want to butcher the names, and then two, a lot of these questions are very repetitive, or I've gotten the same question several times throughout different videos, so I'm just gonna generally ask it and then we'll answer it. The first question is, how did your channel grow so quickly? I've been following for a while now and it seems you've gained so many new subscribers. Any tips and tricks? Okay, so this one's gonna require a little bit of a backstory and I'm gonna be completely honest and transparent with you guys. And my answer for this is I have absolutely no idea. I started cash stuffing, and I've gotten this question too, so I guess it's two answers in one. I started cash stuffing in 2021, and it was the year of my sister's wedding. I was a maid of honor, and she is my absolute best friend in the world, so I wanted to make sure that I contributed a very solid portion as far as like all her parties. I wanted to gift her like all the beauty things and everything like that, so it was a pretty penny. But at the time I was also in debt. So I had decided to work with this company that my mom's company connected me with, and I started to pay off my debt very quickly. And at the time I was also working 2 full-time jobs. So I was getting a really nice income. I was still living with my parents at the time. I was really just paying my debt, and then I wanted to be able to contribute a good portion without going into more debt. So I decided to start looking at videos and listening to podcasts on how to budget properly, and then kind of just finding the method that worked best for me. And so I came across Dave Ramsey. I was going on YouTube, like watching, you know, his channel, listening to his podcast and everything like that. And then I started to come across Dave Ramsey inspired videos, which was basically just people cash stuffing. I honestly was super intrigued and I went like 0 to 100 with these videos. I was binge watching like day and night, and I was just so interested. I thought it just was so cool. And then I started watching more and more, and all of these content creators were saying how they've had this channel for 6 months, a year, and they were already stuffing their YouTube paychecks. And so I thought to myself, like, wow, this actually would be really cool to start something like this if they're getting paid and all they're doing is what they would do on a normal day-to-day basis, but with a camera in front of them. So I was like, I don't have to show my face. Obviously that changed over time, but I was like, I don't have to show my face. I really don't have to talk a whole lot. I'm already doing what they're doing, and all I need is a phone and a cheap tripod. So at the time I was also very introverted. Naturally, I am an introvert. It might not seem like it, but I have very much worked extremely hard on myself to bring myself out of my shell, because naturally I am a major introvert. When I tell you guys, like, I used to be afraid to talk to my dad or my grandpa on the phone. Like, I did not want any phone calls. I didn't want to talk to strangers. I didn't want to introduce myself. I didn't want to public speak, nothing like that. But somehow I ended up getting only jobs that required me to talk to tons of people. I was either in sales or customer service. I don't know how. I ended up doing really well, and so I started to work on myself. I started to work on talking to other people and just like really bringing myself out of my comfort zone, because I'm the type of person that in a party, I'm probably the person that's going to be in the corner sitting down with probably 2 or 3 people in a more intimate setting. Like, I thrive in the like low-key intimate setting, just like chill kind of environment, versus I'm not the life of the party. I never have been. And so I was really nervous about that part, and the fact that like I had to talk to thousands and thousands of strangers because I was putting myself out on the internet. And I was very afraid because I just knew that people on the internet honestly are just so cruel sometimes, like for no reason at all. They just want to ruin somebody's day that was already probably a hard day. But I was really afraid of what people would think about me. And so I really had to frame my mindset before I went forward with this. And I really started to pray very, very hard about this because I said, you know what, God, like my intention with this, yeah, it's for fun, but at the same time, I would like it to grow into something that could also help me financially. And I was very interested in starting this channel, but I didn't want to be out of God's will doing it. So I didn't want to end up like shooting myself in the foot because I went at the pace that I wasn't supposed to. I opened the door that I shouldn't have. I was forcing things to work for me when they shouldn't have. And so I really took a lot of time to pray about this. And I said, you know what, God, if this is something that you want for me, and if this is part of like my whole journey, then let the door open for me. Let this be a good opportunity and just let it work out. Give me favor in this. And so I prayed very hard about it. I was also really afraid. So I said, like, God, just give me a peace about it. I don't want to be scared. I'm going to put a video out and we'll see, like, if it goes anywhere, cool. Like, I'm going to give myself a solid shot and I'm going to try this for maybe a month. And if it's not going anywhere, I know a month probably isn't a lot, but that's what I felt like, okay, we're gonna try this for a month. And if you have to shut this door on me, then just shut it. I don't care. And if I do start making something from it, let me stay true to who I'm supposed to be, and I don't want to change for any reason. Obviously, I'd like to improve for the better, but I've known so many people that will start something on YouTube and they're a certain person, and then behind the scenes too, they're a certain person, and then you put them out in front of a camera in front of tons of people and it's like you're talking to someone totally different. All of a sudden they've developed like a crazy different personality. They have a whole different attitude. They all of a sudden like complete different things. And so I said, you know what, God, if this is for me, let the door be open. Give me favor with this. Let this grow in a way that it should. Let me be able to speak to people as well. And I said, I will not shy away from what I believe in. And if I feel like talking about God, then I'm going to talk about God. And I'm going to attract the people that I should. And the people that don't want to watch, they don't have to, right? Nobody's really forced to, you know, subscribe to any channel if they don't want to. So it took a lot of prayer, it took a lot of consideration, and I thought about it for a few months. So what I decided to do was, before I officially posted a video, I got my phone and I made a little setup for myself on my little desk and I started practicing. So I would stuff my money every week like I normally would, but instead I put my phone in front of me and I clicked record and I started practicing. And I started listening to myself and I said, okay, do I say too much? Do I say like too much? Do I pause or hesitate too much? Do I sound scared or timid? And so I really worked on myself, which is why in the beginning I got a lot of people saying, wow, you're a natural. I'm not a natural, you guys. It just took a lot of practice. Maybe some natural ability to be able to speak, but it took a lot of practice for me to break out of that quiet little shell. And so I practiced, I would record myself, listen back to myself, watch my videos and said, okay, I'm gonna start my first video in January. And so in January, I posted my first video the first week of the month and I got a few likes, I got a few subscribers, it was all cool. Then I posted my second video and I don't know what happened, but it blew up. I didn't edit. I really didn't even know how to create a thumbnail. I didn't know how to do anything. I just was kind of trying to figure it out and I said, all right, let's just go for it. And so my second video somehow blew up. I didn't do anything special. I didn't look up any tricks on how this would work. I probably added a few hashtags. It was nothing crazy. I didn't do a crazy title. It was honestly as plain as it could have been. And so the very first month, you guys, I'm telling you, I don't know how this happened. It was honestly just God's favor and prayer. The first month I hit my first 1,000 subscribers. The second month I hit my 4,000 watch hours and I was offered monetization in February. And in March, I got my first paycheck. And it was like in the 300s, I want to say. I don't know how. I don't know why, it just happened. So full transparency, there was nothing special. I didn't do anything crazy. That might not be what you want to hear, but I just was myself. I posted and I stayed consistent and that was all that it was. And so my channel started to grow very, very quickly after that. And one thing that I knew for sure, even if I couldn't speak, even if I fumbled around, even if I made mistakes, even if I didn't know how to edit, one thing I knew for sure was that I had to stay consistent. And so I consistently posted at the same exact time every single week. And I stayed on that to make the algorithm work to my favor. And trust me, you guys, I'm telling you, even if you're not the best, it's gonna work in your favor. So consistency, that's gonna be one tip that I'm gonna give. And then the second thing, I really, really, really wanted to make sure that I stayed true to my own self. And that sounds cheesy, but I did not want to force a personality that was not mine. A lot of people, it's so funny because a lot of people would be like, wow, you have such a calming voice. I like to listen to you while I study. I love listening, like the way you talk and everything like that. And I would just like laugh when I would read those because I was like, I wasn't trying to do any kind of like ASMR or anything like that. It's just, I was very monotone and I was very quiet in the beginning. That just was my tonality. And I just laughed because I was like, wow. One thing that I was afraid of was how I spoke, or the inability to be super out there, to have this whole personality. Like, I was afraid that people might not like how I was. And that was the one thing that actually attracted people. And I don't know how, but I'm telling you guys, stick to who you actually are because people will sense it a mile away. You can tell immediately. Like, I'll be scrolling through TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, and I'll be seeing a person that is like this whole crazy personality, and sometimes they're hilarious. Like, it's natural, it's totally them, that's who they are. My sister, she's like that. She is a social butterfly, she's the life of the party. That is naturally her personality. That is not mine. So if I were to try to force myself to either act like someone else or act like a person that I really am not, people will sense that, and that whole genuine aspect of your channel is gone. And I personally find that to be unattractive. I think other people find that to be unattractive as well because they gravitate to people who they're like as well. So if you're trying to be this whole personality when that's really not you, guess what? That's gonna be who you're gonna attract. And how much then will you really genuinely have in common with the community that you have now created? I feel that whatever people I attracted in this channel were the people that I was supposed to attract. And I have fallen so in love with this community that has surrounded this channel, you guys. I genuinely feel like I have so many friends from different cities, states, countries. I have so many friends because I stayed to who I was and I attracted people with a diverse range, but also similar enough to where I could actually connect with them. And that, in developing friendships, then engages your community, and people stick around for that because you now have a connection that you probably wouldn't have had if you tried to be someone totally different. So I'm telling you guys, people will sense when you're not genuine, when you're not really yourself, when you're trying to force a certain personality or environment into your channel, and it's not gonna bring what you're trying to bring. Stay to yourself. Your personality will develop over time as well. You'll become more natural in front of the camera. It'll be a little bit easier for you, and naturally you will grow into the person that you are supposed to grow, but you will not be forced to be a complete different personality that you now have to keep up with. So that's, I guess, my little context behind it, my little tips and tricks. Stay to who you actually are, be consistent, and engage with your community. Make sure that you guys are always posting something, whether it's a weekly video. Try as hard as you can to just stick to a set schedule. I do my best. Sometimes I fall short. I fully acknowledge that, and I'm so thankful for all the grace that this community has given me, because I know that there have been times where I have fallen off the face of the earth, and I have everybody checking on me, trying to see how I'm doing, making sure I'm okay, and I absolutely love that. But I'm telling you guys, stay consistent as much as you possibly can. Life happens, okay. But if it's just because you didn't feel like it or you were just a little tired today, try to get rid of the excuses and just be consistent. And if you're looking for real growth, and if you're actually looking to make this a solid thing with an additional stream of income, be consistent. You might not always have a video. Do a short. It's only 60 seconds, okay? Edit real quick, chop it up, and then post it. Have some kind of content for them, because if you're trying to watch your favorite show and you know that every single week it comes out at 7 p.m. and it's your favorite show, you're dying to watch it, and all of a sudden, one week, it's just not there. Okay, next week it's up again. Next week it's not there. Then another week it's not there. People just stop watching. So I would just say be consistent. Try to do community posts if you can. Do polls, do surveys, engage with the community, and see exactly, do your content and what you're trying to create, but also try to see what it is that people want to watch, because at the end of the day, you are producing something that is to create content for an audience. So make sure that you're engaging their concerns as well and their wants. That's it for that question. It was very long. I'm so sorry about that. We're gonna move on to the next one. Okay, so next question, I've gotten this one a lot. It's, how long have you and your boyfriend been dating? And then I have another question that kind of ties into that, and that is, when is your boyfriend going to propose? So we've been dating for a total of 3 years. We've known each other for several years. We actually started off as best friends. It was just a very easy transition into a relationship. I know sometimes it doesn't work out and sometimes it can be awkward, but for us personally, it ended up working out so perfectly. So yeah, we've been together officially 3 years as of October, and we do talk about marriage quite a bit. So that is in the works, that is in the plan. Now, do I know when? I have absolutely no idea. He is the type of person that will not give me any hints if he has either a surprise or a gift or something. Like, he does not give me any hints whatsoever. So when? I really don't have that answer for you guys. Trust me, I'm very curious to know myself, but you guys will be the very first people that I do announce this to. So you will know when I know. And he's also the type of person, see, I can really think things through in my decision making, but a lot of the times I'm very spontaneous in making a decision. I'm kind of the person that's like, okay, I'm making this decision and we're gonna figure out how to do it. So I'll sign up for the half marathon and then I have absolutely no training, but you know what? I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna start training and somehow we're gonna make it work, right? He's the type of person that has to have a plan for his plan for his plan. So when we go on dates, oh my gosh, you guys, I don't have to think about a single thing. There's no decision that I ever have to make. Not a thought in the world, not a care in the world, honestly. And I'm so appreciative for that, because let's say he's like, okay, we're gonna go to this restaurant and then we're gonna watch a movie, right? Restaurant actually ended up being overbooked, it was closed, whatever. He usually has reservations, but hypothetically speaking. So he's like, okay, no worries. I actually already have a backup in mind. We're gonna go here instead. So we call, whatever, we show up. Let's say for whatever reason, that place doesn't work out. No worries. I have another backup. We're gonna go here instead. And so he's that type of person, okay? Everything is planned, everything is organized, everything basically goes flawless. Me, I'm kind of like, well, if it didn't work out, let's figure something out, whatever. So it's kind of also finding the balance between my spontaneous decision making and his over planning. So I don't know, we're also planning, we're saving money, and we just want to make sure that we are fully set up for marriage, because it's not just the wedding day, it's everything after. It's being able to afford the mortgage, utility bills, having extra spending money, being able to travel still, going out with friends, things like that. And so it's more than the one day, and that is something that we are both fully aware of, and we want to be smart about it. But I wouldn't be mad if I got my ring today. We're gonna move on. Are you going to do a food and budget grocery video? I very much want to do that, you guys. Like, honestly, I feel like I'm actually pretty smart on how I shop for my groceries without having to shop for coupons. I do shop at grocery stores that are more affordable. I do have the Ralph's savings thing, so I do actually end up saving a lot of money there, and they have good produce, they have good meat. I also, if I want to drive far enough, I'll go to Winco. I'm not really a fan of Aldi. I know a lot of people love it. I'm not convinced yet. I've gone a couple times and it's come up pretty expensive. So I don't know what people are buying or why it's so much cheaper, but to me personally, I feel like I end up spending so much more. So I'm not really an Aldi fan just yet, but Ralph's and Winco are the two best bets for me. And what I like to do, I'll probably just do that on a whole video in itself. But right now what I'm doing, if you guys follow me on TikTok, I am trying to go through all my groceries before I end up buying more. So I'm not trying to spend any money on groceries until I finish what I have. So I eat a lot of eggs because I need a lot of protein as part of my macros. So if I do run out of eggs, I probably will go to the grocery store and buy more. But for the most part, like all the extra things that I have in my fridge and my pantry that I haven't touched that I need to use, that's what I'm trying to finish before I buy more. Like, that's kind of what I mean by it. And by doing that, I've honestly saved a ton of money, and that is now rolling over into my credit card debt that I'm trying to pay off. But I do really want to do like a grocery haul, what I buy, where I go, how much everything costs, and kind of go through that, because I have had people tell me that my grocery budget is very unrealistic, but I have mentioned it several times. Like, several times. I have a lot of protein in my freezer. So every once in a while, I'll do like a stock buy at Costco, and I'll have ground chicken, ground beef, chicken breast, fish. And so you think about it, I'm one person, okay? My sister buys her own groceries. She buys her own meal preps. It's just me. I'm not cooking for anyone else. I'm not married. I don't have kids. I don't live with anyone else other than my sister. So if I'm only cooking for one person and I have a family pack of salmon, I have the big old pack of chicken breasts, and then I have the pack of ground beef and ground chicken, whatever it is. You think about how long it actually takes to go through that, and it takes kind of a while. Okay, so sometimes all of my grocery budget goes towards just the proteins, and then sometimes I'll have all of that already in my freezer. My parents also gave me a chest freezer, so whatever doesn't fit in my actual one, they gave me the one from their old house because they didn't need it. I have that in my garage. I can just fit it there. And I just have a lot of frozen meats in there. And so bacon and sausage, all of that's gonna be extra. Sometimes I also buy the big old pack of bacon and freeze it, and I only get out what I need, and chorizo as well. So all of my proteins, that's gonna be the most expensive part of your grocery trip. All I need to restock on is my produce. So fruits and vegetables, milk occasionally, creamer, but I don't even have a ton of coffee a day. So it also takes me a while to go through my creamer and my milk and things like that. So you think about it, and $50 really isn't that unrealistic when you're having to buy zucchini, onion, some bananas, things like that. It's really not a lot. It also depends where you shop, how you eat, what your goals are, and that's kind of gonna determine your budget. So my budget doesn't have to work for you. $50 is more than enough for me for my groceries. That might not be enough for you. You also have to consider, I'm not cooking for anyone else. So to me, that works. And sometimes instead of buying groceries, then I'll get my home chef and I'll do a couple meals there. So then there goes my $50. So it really depends. You have to play around with it, see what works for you. It's unrealistic to some people, it's not unrealistic to me. So that's my little take on that. But I will be doing a food budget and grocery haul for you guys very, very soon. Okay, so another question is, what realistic goals do you have for the new year? So one goal that I have been trying to hit for the longest time, and my body was kind of just stuck, I am trying to lose weight. I am desperately trying to lose weight, and I have been trying for a very long time now. My overall goal is 50 pounds. Currently, I'm at like 45 that I need to lose, but my overall goal is 50 pounds by my birthday, which is July 1st. I've done all the calculations, I've done the math. I need to average 7 pounds a month, which is like 2 pounds a week, which is still in a healthy range. So I am working with a nutrition coach. I've also mentioned that to you guys. She is also the owner of the gym that I attend. So I basically have my workout plan with her, and then she calculates my macros. I do weekly accountability, and I'm trying to take progress pictures, progress videos. I also have another goal to run a half marathon at the end of the year. I really, really want to put my head down and focus on my training for my running, just because not only I'm very competitive by nature, very competitive. Ask anybody I know. I will compete to the death, okay? So I'm also very competitive with myself. And one challenge that I really wanted to make for myself was I really, really, really want to run a full marathon. Now, I'm trying to make this realistic as well. So I think I've already done 2 5Ks. My next goal is a 10K, which I'm currently training for right now. And then I would like to do a half marathon by the end of the year, and then a full marathon within the first quarter of next year, I want to say. I feel like because I'm training for an event, my weight loss is just naturally going to come off, and I won't feel like I'm focusing on losing weight. I'll be focusing on a lifestyle shift because I'm now training for competition versus looking at the scale every day trying to see if another pound went down. I feel like that's kind of a healthy way for me to look at it, and it takes my focus off of my body as far as how lean I want it to be, and it puts the focus in how I want my body to work best for me to train for something that's extremely difficult to do. So that's what I'm trying to do. That's my mindset around it, and that's another goal that I have. You guys all know this. My goal is to get out of debt 100% as far as my credit cards go, but that is what I'm trying to aim for financially, and I'm also trying to track my daily expenses and being a little bit more strict when it comes to that. So I do have my trackers on my actual envelopes, but sometimes I forget, or sometimes I don't get to them as soon as I would like to. So what I do is everywhere I go, I carry this little notebook with with me, and then I just basically write like my expenses, what I spent the money on, and how much it was, all of that. So we are doing that. I carry this with me everywhere that I go, and it makes it easier to jot down really quickly, and then I know how much I'm spending from where. So if I use cash, debit, or credit, if it was a gift card, and then I can also see what I'm spending it on. So I'll look back at it and I'll be like, wow, I spent a little bit too much money on groceries this week, and part of it was kind of unnecessary. Let me gauge that a little bit and kind of take it back. And then, or I'll be like, wow, I ended up spending too much money on Amazon, I don't need to shop next week. So just little things like that I'm trying to really hyper focus on my tracking with my spending, and then really focusing on my budgeting with each category. So if I give myself $50 to spend on groceries, then I think, okay, what exactly do I need and what is just extra? So I want to do that 4-3-2 method. I think it's like 6-5-4-3-2, but I saw it on TikTok, and basically you get like 1 fun item, 2 sauces or condiments, 3 proteins, 4 grains, like whatever it might be. I don't know how it goes, but basically you focus on a set number of things. So you focus on, I'm gonna buy 3 proteins today. So what do I need? I need chicken, I need steak, I need fish. Those are my 3 proteins, and I'm gonna like budget accordingly. So each category that I have for my spending, I wanna designate also and go even deeper and more detailed, so that I'm making sure that I'm maximizing my income and not just spending recklessly. Even though I have a budget for it, I want to be a little bit better and try to maximize my savings with that, if that makes sense. I do have a lot more habits and goals that I would like to accomplish this year. I am doing a more detailed video for my vlog channel if you guys want to watch that, and then I am trying to do a little bit of a series as far as like getting started on the new year, and I really want to make sure that I create a solid routine for myself, both morning and just like a full day, just to make sure that I'm setting up my day the best that I can to be the most efficient and effective as possible. Those are some of my goals that I have for this coming year. I'm trying to stick to being them as realistic as possible so that I can make sure that I actually accomplish them, but you know, things change, so I'm adjusting as needed. Another one that I have is your ring the one that can connect to your phone and track your health? Yes. So I do have the Aura ring. This is what it looks like, and the prices vary depending on what style you get. They all work the same, but there's different colors, different styles, and so it can be pricey. It's anywhere from $400 to $500, and I use this thing every single day. I've had it for several months now, and I really enjoy using it. I am really trying to get my health on track here, and I'm also trying to train for a long run. So I'm trying to make sure that I check all my categories and make sure that they're all working to my favor. So I track how much sleep I got, how many hours in the day that I was stressed. It's checking my temperature. It also connects to my cycle app. It's telling me if I'm recovered enough today to do a workout or not, how much activity I've gone, how many steps, calories burned, everything like that. And so it really goes into a ton of details. I still have my Apple Watch. I've had it for years, and I'll use it for workouts because it's better for tracking a workout than the ring is. And then I'll probably also use it for my messages if I know that I'm gonna be out all day or have meetings or whatever and I can't pick up my phone. I will say that for workouts, the Apple Watch I do like better, but for my overall health and different statistics and numbers, I like to use my ring. It also can detect as soon as you start to get sick and kind of feeling under the weather. It'll know that if you did a really intense workout the day before, like you should probably take it easy today, maybe do a recovery walk. Or if you didn't get enough sleep, it'll tell you try finding some time in the day to take a nap, and it'll bring your sleep score up. So this ring I will very highly recommend. I do have a little bit of referral code. I think it's like $35 to $40 off. So it's not a lot, but it's something. So I will put that in the description as well. My mom and 2 of my sisters have already been convinced to buy one. And then I think my 3rd sister is gonna buy one as well. And then I convinced my coach to get one, and she has convinced so many people in the gym to get one as well. So when I tell you guys I'm sold on this ring, I am sold. A lot of people have been asking if I'm still working a second job. The answer is no. It was, oh my gosh, you guys, it was so hard. Okay, props to anyone who works at a warehouse. I personally could not do that ever again. It was the hardest job that I've ever had in my entire life. It was getting to the point, you guys all know my testimony as far as like how God healed my back. I dealt with chronic back pain for over 14 years, and he healed me miraculously. I have absolutely no back pain whatsoever anymore. I was leaving work every single day. My body literally from head to toe head to toe, without exaggeration, every inch of my body hurt. I couldn't even close my hands because like they were so sore. My feet were always hurting. My head was hurting because I was so tired. My back was killing me. I would come home with scratches, bruises, everything. I was just like a walking disaster at that point. And it got to the point where they were starting to give me like heavier things, and I was basically hand loading these trailers. So I'm 5'3", okay? I'm not very tall, but I'm 5'3". They were giving me like 70-pound boxes that were basically my height that I had to lift over my head to pile up to build a wall for the trailer. And I was like, absolutely not. So the men were so nice. There was only 2 other girls with me in that department, so that speaks for itself. And then I would always have the men come around and be like, hey, do you need help? Like, I've got you, whatever, this and that. So they were always helping me. It was a great company, great people to work with. But if I cannot fully perform this job on my own to the best of my ability by myself and get the performance percentage that I'm supposed to get, then I'm not going to do the job. Because not only am I slowing myself down, I'm slowing my department down, I'm slowing my coworkers down, and it's just not, I'm just frustrated, right? And also, again, I told you guys I'm very competitive. So when I know that I am busting my butt and my performance is sitting at 60%, you can only imagine how mad I was every day. So I was like, you know what, this isn't for me. I can't do this anymore. And so what I decided to do to kind of supplement that income is I just decided to really focus on my side hustles. And I'm also now doing Uber Eats, which honestly, if you really stick to a disciplined schedule every single day, you're gonna make a lot of money. Like, you really will make a lot of money. I love it. My area seems to get a lot of orders, so I have absolutely no complaints. And then it tells you the windows that are the busiest. So as soon as those windows hit, I'm out there, I'm driving, and I'm getting orders. Also, I do have an app called Shipped, and you deliver, same thing. You sometimes shop. And I had an order like 2 weeks ago. I got 11 items at Target, you guys. 11 items at Target. I got paid $65 for that trip. I have absolutely no idea how or why they pay so much, but I don't, that app is not as busy as Uber Eats, but you know, occasionally I will get a good trip. And so I'm just supplementing income with different things that I have going on, and not really anything consistent, but again, the money was extra to be able to pay my debt off sooner. So at the end of the day, I'm still, whatever extra money that I have, I'm just lump summing that into my credit card. So that's basically it. To answer your question, I have quit that second full-time job. Another question is, how did you start budgeting versus how you budget now? And I did mention how I started budgeting. I also actually forgot to mention that in that year of my sister's wedding, I managed to cut my debt in half, pay for everything that I had to pay for my sister's wedding, and gift her. And I did not go into any more debt. I lowered my debt and I paid everything cash. When I tell you guys cash budgeting, if you do it right, and if you stick to it, it really works. Like, it really does. I got my boyfriend doing it. My sister was doing it for a while, and I have some friends that do it now. And I'm telling you, the system works if you do it right. But in the beginning, I will say I played around with these numbers so much. Also, in the beginning, I was still living with my parents. So I didn't really pay for any utilities or anything like that. I didn't have rent to pay. I really just paid for my car insurance, my phone, and if I wanted any special groceries for myself or like memberships to the gym or anything like that. So I didn't have too many expenses at the time. So it just made it a lot easier to be able to dedicate my money to debt. But the way that I would budget first is I would do a certain amount of numbers 1 week and see how I liked it. I think I gave myself too much money for groceries. I think I gave myself too little money for gas. I need to see what amount works for gas every week that I need to fill up, and then we'll kind of take it from there. And so once I started to familiarize myself with numbers and seeing that it only takes $50 to fill up my tank, okay, $50 to fill it up. That's what I'm gonna designate every single week. Depending on how much I eat, like when I eat out, I was trying really hard to be disciplined in not eating out. But if I did, I would calculate what's kind of enough, where do I need more? And so I was changing my numbers every single week, and I've gotten into a routine where it's like, okay, I know that this is how much I need to spend this week. This is how much I am comfortable with in my wallet. This is how much I can designate towards my savings and whatever. And it just becomes routine. My bills, I have always split into 4 because to me, I hate having a huge chunk of money go towards bills out of one check. So to make it easier on myself, I would just split it up into 4, and then I would designate a certain amount. Or if I had, let's say I paid my tags recently in my registration. So let's say that it cost $100 and it would be due in a month. Then I know that every single week to meet that number, I then have to put $25 a week so that I could pay that comfortably and not feel like I have to take a whole chunk out of my check. So that's how I would do it. I would look at what I'm saving for, how much it costs, the time frame that I'm looking to purchase or to pay for, and then from then look at that week and look at where you're at now and divide all of those little numbers to see where do I, so if it's not for another 20 weeks, divide it by 20 and see how much you need. And you'll realize that if you do have more long-term goals, it's going to be so easy for you to put $2 a week and still be able to make that goal at the end. So that's how I did it, and that's how I do it now. It hasn't changed much as far as my system goes, but my numbers have changed a lot just to where I've found something that actually works for me, and you just get more comfortable with it. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. I also had a ton more categories in the beginning, and I've kind of broken that down into more general to realize like, okay, maybe I don't need a toiletry category, maybe I could just do it in my miscellaneous, and then it can be a little bit more of a broad spectrum as far as like, maybe I need it for toiletries, maybe I needed to buy myself like a really quick membership for something, maybe whatever it might be. I've kind of gone from crazy specifics to more general numbers, and that's just because it developed over time. So whatever works for you, it's going to change over time, and you just have to be flexible with every number. So another question is, I know you're trying to get out of debt. Are you making extra payments towards your debt or just the minimum payments at the moment? So for a while, I really could only do minimum payments just because I was paycheck to paycheck. What I'm doing now though, now that I've consolidated all my credit cards into one, so I'm looking at whatever I have to pay monthly. It's honestly like not even a lot, but what I have to pay monthly, and then all my additional side income, I'm lump summing that, as well as my rollover money for my wallet every week. But what I was doing before was I had my smallest credit card that I was trying to pay off, which is basically a debt snowball method. I had my smallest credit card, and I would try to lump sum what I could while in my budget keeping open all of the minimum payments for the other cards. So if I had a budget of $200 and all my minimum payments were $25, then I would budget all of the minimum payments, and whatever I had left over, let's say it was $100, and I would put $100 into the next credit card. And so that's how I would make it work. Now I'm basically just lump summing, which is why I don't stuff it. And I keep getting asked this question. I've actually answered it a few times. I'm not stuffing my money as far as like what I'm putting into my credit cards every week, just because I am just lump summing that, and I don't feel the need to stuff it every week. But what I am showing now on my channel is my rollover money. I am putting it into a credit card envelope, and at the end of the month we'll count it, and then that's going to be an additional payment towards my credit card. So I'm stuffing it, but I'm not stuffing it, if that makes sense. Another question is, you guys know I do cash budget everything, but sticking to what's realistic to nowadays where a lot of people don't take cash. I did get this question is, how do you handle places and things that don't take cash? My anxiety gets high thinking of not doing all cash the correct way. So yes, this is a very valid question. I totally get it. There are a lot of places now that are cashless. Or let's say you go out to eat and you have one person that says, hey, I'm putting it on my card, just Venmo or Zelle me or whatever. And you're the person with cash, and let's say they never use cash. That makes a lot of sense. What I decided to do, because I was coming across this problem a lot, is that I have my money set aside for me as far as like what I have weekly. If I'm going out, then I have that money in cash set aside for me. But I have mentioned to you guys, I do make sure that in my checking account, my debit card, I do keep a buffer. So instead of using a credit card, which is what I'm trying to avoid because I'm trying to pay off my credit card, I keep a buffer in my debit card, and that way if there's any unexpected expenses that I forgot about, or I forgot to deposit before the due date, or I do go out to eat and someone says you could just Zelle or Venmo me, or there's a place that's cashless, I always have that buffer in my debit card to get rid of the anxiety and be like, no worries, I'll send you the money now. I make a note to myself where I owe myself a certain amount. I'll pull that money out of my envelope or my wallet, and then I put it in the section of where I have to deposit this in the bank. So I still use my cash, but having a backup plan if the person doesn't take cash. That way it avoids using any kind of credit cards, but you're still cashless in whatever way you have to. So I recommend, like very, very highly recommend, having a debit card with a buffer in there. That way, if that situation were to come up, there's like no second thought to that. You just send it and then just pay yourself back with the cash. But remember to pay yourself back, because then you're just depleting your buffer and you're never replenishing it. And then you're down on your debit card and you're down on your cash. So just make sure to pay yourself back. Just remember that. I feel like this video is getting very, very long because I have been talking way too much, so sorry about that. But I think I'm gonna end it here. And then if you guys have any additional questions, I'm gonna do my best to respond to everything in the comments. I really just got a lot of the same questions asked so many times, so I figured I would just go over like the most general ones. But if you guys do have any other questions, please don't forget, leave them down in the comments. I will do my best to respond to you. It doesn't always come like within the same day. You guys know I have so much going on. I'm so busy, but I do try my best to respond even if it's just a little bit later. So don't forget to leave those questions in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe. That'll really support my channel, you guys. We're almost at 10K and I have a really good giveaway coming up for that. So thank you guys so much for participating in this Q&A. I really look forward to this year coming up. I am so excited about it. I have so many goals, you guys. I am trying to like habit stack. I have a lot of things that I want to accomplish this year, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. I'm just so ready to take on 2024, and I really pray that this is just honestly not just my year, but your guys' year. I know it's been really hard for some people leading up, and so I just really hope that this is just the best one for you guys. I'm so excited to go through this journey with you guys, and I'm just thrilled to have the community that we do. I love you guys, and I'll see you all again on Saturday. Bye.